How do you do? Happy Monday to you. This Monday is a tough one for me because this Monday is in the second half of a half term. The second half of the toughest half term of the school year. I've met new classes. I'm teaching them my routines. The children are finding me weird. It's taking time to settle, so it's a lot of work. That's why I'm exhausted. And this weekend, my sister friend stopped over and I got the chance to spend some time with my happy places. Really good. Anyway, so obviously when things like that happen, I get time to think. And when I get time to think, I get time to share. I like to share some of the things that come to my mind, and I want to share this with you. There is method in the madness. My sister friend and I, we go back 20-something years. She used to be one of my lifelines when the children were young, when I really got desperate with picking children up. One of the things we really reminisce over when we meet is when I was doing my re-specialization program. I would finish school and run to uni. That meant that I couldn't pick the kids up. The husband was at work as well. So my sister friend, I was lamenting this, wondering how I was going to be able to do this course when 5 o'clock there was nobody to pick the children up. And so she offered to help me to get on this course and be able to get this qualification that I really wanted and needed. She would pick the kids up for me. My kids loved after school club, okay? And so when she turned up to pick them up on computer's room day, my son told the school he didn't know her. He was hoping that if he said that, it would buy them some time in the computer room, and then maybe later, whatever happened, happened. My luck was that I had left her details with the school, and she could cross-check when she gave her number. The number was exactly what I had given. We were reminiscing and talking about these things. And as we went down these memory lanes, we found a lot of things that seemed haphazard when it happened. They were random. They were not organized. They were meh. But then, over time, we began to connect the dots. And as we connected the dots, this was the overarching theme. There is method in the madness. Even in your struggles, there is method. The things that make you despair, the things that make you cry, they will connect later on. And they will connect to make meaning. They will connect to give you an advantage. We were talking about this qualification that I was doing at the time. And when I was doing this qualification, really, what I said to them was, I imagined that it might give me an edge. It might give me an edge. I'd be able to, and we were talking through, and that is the reason why I have had some of the choices that I have had in my career. So kids who know me here, when I first came to ATHS, I was a biology teacher. And then I am their cousin's physics teacher in my current school. There are kids who did chemistry with me, A-level chemistry. And so people sometimes are like, how the hell? So something similar came up this weekend also. How the hell? And yeah, how the hell is in some of the random things that happen and you do not sometimes get to stop to appreciate. So as we were thinking about that course I was doing and how my career has gone and how my career has transformed my life, we were laughing about going back to our Manchester house. And she said, you will not be able to go live in that house. And I did not disagree. I will struggle to go back to my Manchester house and live. One of the things that I said to her straight up was, I will struggle because it has only one bathroom. The thought of sharing a bathroom even with my husband is unthinkable. Unthinkable. And to share my bathroom with my husband and 2 children, fine. So I said, the only way we can go back to that Manchester house is for us to do a conversion and add a second bathroom so that each one of us can have a bathroom of their own. And also, if the kids are not in residence, then one of those rooms could be my studio. We could convert the other one into a guest room, which will also end up being my day room. But yeah, that's my message of hope for you. Whatever you are going through now, no matter how bad it seems, no matter how painful it is, sometimes you try and situate it and you don't understand why this is happening. Believe me, it will be your edge. The best marriage counselors have come through some of the toughest relationships. Yeah. The best life coaches have been beaten down by life and they survive. The best advisors have seen things pass in between their eyes that you would not recommend. But that is what gives people, your pain is your edge. Write it down somewhere for yourself. Your pain is your edge. The pain that you experience that nobody else has experienced is your edge. The problem is most people don't know that their pain is their edge, so they waste it. No, don't waste yours. Don't waste yours. Your pain, your edge. The minute you have the pain, you have to find the edge. And you've got to let it work for you. If you are suffering the pain, you might as well enjoy its benefits. Find the edge. You seem to be organizing life, and nothing seems to be organized. Nothing is getting tamed. It's fine. It will align in its own time, and when it does, it will be beautiful. In the meantime, it won't be. So forget about forcing that before it's time. Trust the method. Trust the process. There is method in the madness. There is. So many things have happened to me that seemed disjointed, that seemed random, that did not have a connectivity to nothing. My life seemed to be derailed. My purpose was not coming together. I was fighting and I was fighting and I was not giving. When the time comes, one day it will connect, it will align, and it will be beautiful. I've seen it happen so many times to me and to so many people. I am now convinced it's not a random event for one person. It happens for everybody. Everybody. There is a famous Ghanaian broadcaster who was unmarried for a long time, and then she got married in this very beautiful event. And somebody who used to talk to me about her spinsterhood and would get a particular line of response from me. Marriage is not for everyone, and it's not mandatory for happiness. Called me and says, well, you used to say that, but look, even she wanted marriage. I'm like, well, even she, when she got the marriage, she got a better marriage than most. She was made to wait, and she was made to wait for her king. And after a short period of time, they had a baby girl, beautiful girl. Her life, the way she wanted it, is what she got. And she was living very well, happily connecting. And the person comes back to me, and I said to her the same thing that I'm saying to you. There is method in the madness. There is method in the madness. You will be made to wait so you don't kiss the frogs. If you want Prince Charming, you must wait. To get Prince Charming, you must wait. If you yourself will be Cinderella, you must wait. Cinderella did not start. I think all these stories are around. We listen, we know, but we don't hear. Cinderella did not start in her glass shoe. Snow White was not herself in a castle as the princess before. If you listen to any of these fairy tale stories, they start from a pain point. Just so you know, you must have ugly sisters, and you must have abusive ugly sisters before you meet the prince, so that everything looks wonderful and fairy tale like at the appointed time. There is method in the madness. Those of you who are biblical, the story of Joseph will probably be the one I give you. Joseph, beloved son of a shepherd. Shepherd has many children who are fighting for inheritance. Joseph comes along and everybody knows, they can smell his destiny. They knew he was going to be the greatest amongst them. They knew. What they didn't know was how it was going to play out. They thought that he probably was going to be given his father's inheritance, which is annoying for the older ones. Guess what they chose to do? Method in the madness. They didn't know. It seemed mad. To the untrained eye, it was pure madness. The brothers decided that they could not let Joseph remain in his father's house and come up to his glory at their expense. So guess what they did? They threw him in a ditch and went to their dad and told dad that he was eaten by an animal. Yeah. That ditch is how Joseph was picked up and sent to Egypt. When he arrived in Egypt, he was not even there as his appointed self immediately. No, he ended up in prison in Egypt. That's how the story can get convoluted. We hear these things. It's supposed to inspire you to keep fighting yours, but most of us don't hear it. So I want to tell you that. Listen to Joseph. He was living well. He ended up in a ditch. He recovered. Most people will expect one recovery to be it. That has been me. I have recovered, and then I find myself back in the ditch, and I'm like, it's not always just one cycle. It's not one turn in the ditch. Often it takes more than one turn in the ditch. Anyway, Joseph has ended up in the ditch. Joseph did something and ended up in Potiphar's house. He was a good-looking boy. The woman wanted him. He wasn't raised that way. So he resists. He resists her advances. And to avoid embarrassment, this woman pretends that she was sexually assaulted by this guy. He was not. He gets thrown into prison. And whilst he's in prison, he gets to interpret a dream. And when he interprets the dream, he is brought back, and finally he becomes the Prime Minister of Egypt, overseeing the great escape from a terrible famine. He becomes the great ruler. He's the only person with silos full of food, whilst most people around are rallying because they were not able to do what he did. He comes back or his brothers come to him. The stories are many and now I confuse all of them. His brothers come to Egypt, I think, and they come to see the ruler because they are looking for food, and then they come to find the brother they threw in the ditch finally ascended into his full grace. Sometimes you ascend into little summits where you haven't hit your peak. And often after your summit, there's a dip. There's always a dip after each little summit. And it confuses a lot of people who don't understand. I'm telling you today, this pattern, there is a madness, but within that madness, there is method. Take 10 stories you know from 10 secular successful people. Take Oprah Winfrey's story, and you will understand. Oprah was married, Oprah was pregnant at 14 and she ended up losing the baby. Funnily, in all the riches Oprah has had since, no further baby. No further baby. Oprah has got a very attentive man with her. There's a story, an interview I listened to. She so desperately wanted to be married, but this guy wouldn't ask. And then eventually he did ask. And when he did ask, she figured out that this guy, when she conferred marriage onto him, would turn into a controlling person because of who his personality is and because of who she is. She didn't want that. She comes to the end. She refused to marry, and they've been partners ever since. He's been by her side ever since. You don't win them all. You will win ultimately. You will win ultimately. But it will come in its own style. It will come because there was already a pre-programmed method. You just didn't know. To you, it's madness. No, there's method there. So what can you do? You can't do much except trust the process and let it happen. Don't waste any of your efforts, your time, your resources, energy to try and fight the process, because you can't. Ultimately, you can't. You can waste your efforts trying. It will not succeed. It's better to just let it be. Let it go. And you keep trying your very best in the direction that you feel in your gut you should go. You are not mad. So if it whispers in your ears for you to go back to school it is. If it whispers in your ear to start a business, even if you don't have capital, start a business it is. You can figure out the rest as you go. It becomes apparent that you've got to quit your job and do something else. Well, start working on the something else. Create it so you can quit your job. Yeah. Change career is what it whispers in your ear. There's a reason why it whispers. Listen. It will be you moving ahead of the time. I've told you this so many times. I have heard the whisper of directions I should go in, and even my own brain will tell you this doesn't make sense. When I heard the whisper in my ear that I needed to focus on educational technology, I laughed. You know why? Because everybody doesn't take educational technology seriously. It is a nuisance for most teachers who would want to, how can I progress my career in this area? How? Anyway. Eventually, COVID comes. When COVID comes, that whisper made sense. I heard the whisper in 2017, maybe 2018. I had clarity. So I started the course in 2017. At that time, they were asking where each person was going to focus and specialize. By about 2018, I knew that I wanted, or I must go into educational technology and work with that. Who wants educational technology? 2019, I knuckled down and started researching and working. People were not really aware of what it is I was researching, but the children could report on the tools I was using and things like that. See, it was not really organized. It was just happening in bits. And sometimes I got frustrated whilst it was happening in bits because it was not getting tamed the way I wanted it to be. Then COVID happened. Boom! Everybody needed technology. Everybody in the school needed to be able to teach children effectively on Teams. People needed to know how to do things on their own because IT support was not available. So they needed people who could walk teachers through. And I remember getting a phone call from the then headmistress asking me to come and see her so we can talk because she was beginning her strategic move. By September 2020, I was a digital innovations coach. You remember, I heard the whisper in 2017. The whisper began its substantiation in 2020. It became more significant in 2021, and eventually in 2022, it led me to be part of the team that got the school, the Apple Distinguished School, and my name remains on that application because I insisted. When they decided they needed my data to put it there, it's something that is now for myself. That's something I have credit for. And the whisper started in 2017. It went in this, when I tell people now, my name is acknowledged on the Apple Distinguished School application, it says Amfugobe 2022. People will look at it and like, oh, you've been so long. No, it was not beautiful, it was not rosy, it was messy. It was messy. There was a lot of tears, a lot of angst in that process. But you see, through the tears, through the angst, eventually you arrive at the destination, the appointed place. The path is convoluted. The destination is assured. There is method in the madness. If I knew that it would end the way it was supposed to end, that wanting to push will not push anything further. People wanting to sabotage will not get anywhere. I laughed towards the end of that process because I knew somebody who was rather very keen to have got her name there. She was climbing and was heading in the right directions, but just didn't have the credentials. She had the attention, she had the visibility, she had the traction behind her wings, but did not have the credentials. Guess who had the credentials? Moi. Moi, who heard the whisper, who disagreed with the whisper, but just got moving anyway. Because by that time, I already know that things come to my mind for a reason. So when it comes to my mind, what can you do? You just begin to move. And that is my inspiration for you this morning. I was in the shower this morning and I heard a phrase. The sentence smashed into my head. And when it did, I did a double take. It smashed again. And this time, it said it needs to be the title of a book. When I speak like this, people are like, what is the it? I don't know what an it is. It comes to my mind. It comes to my mind as if somebody was speaking to me. I don't know who the somebody is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I had clarity on it. It just popped in my mind. There was no reason why it should come to my mind. There was no precursor to that. No precedence. I brushed my teeth. I jumped in the shower. I was not expecting to think about anything, but I did think about it. And this sentence comes to my mind. I'm like, what? What's that? Huh? Then the sentence comes again. Now I'm dwelling on the sentence. And as the sentence comes, I see myself discussing that book at very high places. And I knew that that is the title of a book. That is the title of a book. Ordinarily, in the early days, when I didn't know, when I didn't understand, I may not have done what was needful. This time, in understanding there is method to the madness, and having been here long enough to see the process and how it seems to work, as soon as I figured it was a book title, I called to my husband and I said, hey, text this title to me now, please. Go to WhatsApp and WhatsApp this very sentence to me. I know that it came to my mind at that time for a reason. I know that I would not get an explanation of the full reasons here. I know that I saw myself sitting in somebody's television show or podcast. I can't tell you what it was, but I was in a show format somewhere discussing this book and that the information shared in this book was transformational for a group of people. And so that book will get written very soon. It will. Is there any guarantee that when I write the book, it might actually end up the way I envisaged it? Probably not. But I've come to know that you don't wait for that guarantee. The minute I see that book, I need to factor that into my plans and start writing that book. I need to write that book. So we are getting ready to write that book. Method in the Madness. If I write that book and I promote that book, what is likely to happen is that a few years somebody would invite me to a thing. The book will come up. We will discuss the book. And that day, I will remember this very random conversation I had with you on Facebook, and I will tell them I made a video the day the idea of the book came to my mind. And it will connect, and it will make sense why I got the book idea. The reason why I got the book idea is because the universe is ready for a new face for me. And that new face needs a leading character. It needs a hero. And the hero of that new face is that book. And if I write that book and the book performs well, that will become the subject of the conversation. That will open the doors. That will lead me into the new direction that I ought to go into. There's method in the madness. When you know there is method in the madness, your nerves are calm. Yeah. You don't over dramatize. You just do the needful. You just do the needful. No drama, just the necessary. And you keep going. You keep trying your best. That's all you can do. Try your best. Hopefully this morning, those of you who are on here and those who watch this would be people who require a little bit of confidence to keep moving. The people I really would like to see this video are the ones who are doing this and wondering whether you have made a mistake on an inkling. I can tell you, you haven't. Those of you who have prophecies sitting on your heads, like Joseph, it is there. It is undeniable. Everybody knew he had to be great. And I fit that category. From the get-go, everybody who met me said that I was here for big things and I was here to be doing big things. The problem was that as time went on, I wasn't seeing any big thing happening. Of course, I will get a high and I will get a dip, and I will get a high and I will get a dip. And then over the course, you will ask yourself, so where is this prophecy? Where is this greatness? It's been long enough. I believed this prophecy. I believed it. But after waiting for so long now, you will question it. You will question it if you don't understand these simple things. You will question it. And when you question it, it will bring you pain. Because the answers you will get will not be answers that are pleasant. You are wasting your life. You are underachieving. The prophecy may not come true. Yeah, it will come true. And it's time. And in its place. Where they were in Israel was not where the prophecy was meant to happen. Joseph and his vice presidency, prime ministership, whatever you want to call it, was meant for Egypt. He was meant to be in Egypt before this happened. But it takes a process to get to Egypt. To get a process. My sister friend and I were talking, and we were reflecting on some of the things that have happened since we've been here. And I said that we needed to leave Manchester to get here. We did. My husband has changed careers since we left Manchester. He would never have gone into teaching in Manchester. He never would. But here he is, teaching, building a solid career, finding something he really enjoys. That makes a big difference in the children who are in his class and in the people he works with. Yeah. We needed to move. His purpose was here. This was only going to happen in this country and in this jurisdiction under the circumstances prevailing. That's the only way this was going to unfold. And so the migration to this place was a necessity. You call my husband and you ask him. Right now, that we have got to this point, very good. But when he was here and needed to retrain and needed to start again a career at an advanced age, he must have had some thoughts in his head. He must have wondered what the hell he was doing and what has happened to his life. Why is he back starting a career with children that he saw born, really? He was there when some of these people... There's a girl who is in a place, and I had to say to her, you know, when I started teaching, you would have been in maybe year 7. At that time, you didn't call me Mamet, you called me Miss. Yes, Miss. Good morning, Miss. Yeah. Today, you think that you are my mate, probably even my superior. Yeah. I was not Mamet, I was Mrs. Amfumobi. That would have been it too. And yeah, whilst you are going through the processes, whilst you are there in those situations where you are sometimes at the same level as people much younger than you, or in the worst case, you find yourself in a situation where people much less experienced, less exposed, less whatever it is, get to call the shots and play with you. Yeah, you learn a new humility, you do. You learn a new humility. It sharpens your focus. It will eventually get you to the balance you need to make certain things happen. Okay. Only at that time would you understand the game. Anyway, I love you loads. I hope the message has served you. I need to get going. I'll see you guys later.